One of my quotes that I'm connecting my interview to from this year's ELA is from The Great Gatsby, when Gatsby said to Tom, "Whenever you feel like criticizing someone, just remember that all people haven't had all the advantages you've had." And I think that correlates with my mom's situation because it kind of just shows that, like, not everybody gets to have those wealths and that generational wealth, or like the passed down money, or being born into wealth. You know what I'm getting at? Like, a lot of people have to work their way up. A lot of people have to work so hard to accomplish those dreams, and there's a lot of things in the road. There's a lot of things that come at you randomly in life that happen, and you just have to keep things rolling. And I think with my mom's situation, it just kind of showed that, like, yeah, this does kind of suck, but how are we going to move forward? And another part of that quote is talking about judging people. And I think with my mom's situation, like, she talked about in the interview how she would go to the store and people would give her dirty looks because she was getting food stamps. And it just kind of shows how, like, people do judge you based off, like, those simple things. And I think that this quote is just kind of symbolizes that, like, yeah, like, money does mean stuff to people, maybe not in the best way, but it does represent something. And that's why I wanted to connect my interview to this quote. And then my second connection quote is from the movie Fences, and he says, "I ain't got no tears, I done spent them all. We go upstairs at night and I fall down to my knees. I have to make a way. I have to make a way out." He's just kind of saying that, like, he feels like every day he's doing the same thing. He's working so hard, and he's not really getting any congrats, or he's not really making any progress. And I feel like my mom felt that way too. Like, she had 3 kids to raise. She was constantly working. I mean, we were basically broke. We didn't really have any money, so it was kind of hard to, like, feel like there was, like, a way out, or feel like there was something in front of us to look forward to. But I think that this quote does a really good job at just kind of symbolizing that, like, people are always going to feel like they need to get a way out. People are always going to be having a tough time in life, because that's just life sometimes. But it's how you overcome those things and overcome those obstacles that really allow you to show you who you are. And it kind of does really represent the American dream. Like, you can make yourself out of nothing. And so that's why I chose these quotes. Okay, so today I chose to interview my mom. This is my mom. And my question to you is, how would you describe the American dream?
I would describe the American dream as you setting out for goals and being able to accomplish those goals, being able to, just being where we live in America, you can grow up to be pretty much anything you want to be, as long as you set your mind to it and work hard. And that's part of the American dream, having that opportunity to do so. I think that if you put the work in and you have an open mind, and I think you can accomplish anything if you live in America. So I think that's the American dream.
Okay, and so what was it like being on food stamps?
So when we had our 3rd child, Jesse's younger brother, their dad traveled a lot, and so it was really difficult for me as kind of a single mom. Their dad, my husband, traveled a lot, 2 or 3 weeks at a time, and then we had the 3rd child, and it was just really stressful on just me having 3 kids. They were all 3 and under, so it was really stressful. So we made the decision to have their dad, my husband, quit his traveling job so he could be home with us and help out. But it was a tough decision because, of course, I was a teacher, and as a lot of people know, teachers, we have some perks, but we also don't get paid a lot. And so living off, their dad didn't have, once he decided to quit his job so he could be around more, he didn't have a job for a couple of months, and just paying for 3 kids under 3. I was off for a little bit from maternity leave, but we had to decide, to him stay home, he had to find a job locally. And that was hard to do, to find a job. And so we had a house, we had car payments, we had 3 kids to feed. So we had to figure something out. We asked my parents to help us with the house payments. And then because teaching didn't pay the bills for a family of 5, we had to look into some assistance. So we had to apply. We decided to apply to at least get some help with food because we had 3 kids to feed. So we applied for food stamps, which helped with paying for things like milk and bread and eggs and formula because we had, like I said, we had a baby, her younger brother. So it was a little bit humbling experience,
Yeah.
especially the first time you go through the checkout. I tried to go at times. Yeah, what'd you say?
Said people look at you.
Yeah, I tried to go at times when I knew the grocery store would not be that busy.
Yeah.
Because when you have food stamps, they have to process it differently through the checkout. So it does take a little longer, and you have to have food stamps for like the milk. You have a food stamp, at least at the time, because this was 15 years ago. I don't know if things have changed, but so yeah, it was definitely humbling. You knew everybody behind you knew that you were paying with food stamps. So it's not something that like we shared with everybody at the time. It was just our business. So we were doing what we needed to do to take care of our family. But yeah, so it was difficult to make that decision to go on it, and it was also difficult to use them. So
yeah.
But it was something we had to do. So
Okay, so my next question would be, what was your like motivation to like get through that time period?
I guess our motivation obviously is we have 3 children. We didn't want to, we both, her dad and I, we knew that our goal was not to stay on food stamps forever. Our goal was like 6 months to help us continue. We didn't want to ask money from grandparents.
Right.
We had already asked for help for the house payments, and we didn't want to continue to ask help. We both grew up like, you take care of your family. My parents worked, Scott's dad's parents worked, and like, so we had that like, this was just going to be temporary. We're going to get through this. And we did. I think we ended up, we were on food stamps. You had to reapply every 6 months. So we did it for sure for 6 months, I remember. And then the last 6 months, we didn't end up using it all because her dad got a job. He was working nights, which was not great, but at the same time, at least he was working. So our motivation obviously was not to be on food stamps.
Right.
But that was our,
It was
that was
Yeah,
what we had
it
to
was
do
the
at the
time.
time. So
Okay, so my next question is like, what did it teach you? Like any like values or like morals?
I think it taught me to be maybe more understanding of when people do have to, not that I don't feel like I was judgmental before,
Right.
but also understanding that sometimes that's life and you have to kind of work through those, situations. I do think, and I understand if other people have to go on it, it's hopefully not something permanent. It's temporary, and sometimes everybody just needs a little help. Right. I also do feel like, as far as our marriage goes, and you'll learn this when you get older, that when you get married, you're going to have a lot of ups and downs, and you're going to have things that are difficult. But I think that as far as our marriage went, it could have been really difficult. It could have made things really stressful because we were pretty much like broke. But I knew that we had a strong relationship, so I guess it just taught me that what I already knew, that we were a pretty strong couple, and that if we could get through that struggles of financial, then we could tackle other things in life. And so I think that's one of the things that taught us that we were a strong
family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so to wrap it all up, overall you would say the American dream is like just being able to grow yourself.
Yeah, being able to grow. And I think that, I told her this was 15 years ago, and we were able, I think the American dream is you can start from scratch, or you can do well and then fall down, but you can still pick yourself back up. And if you work hard and kind of set your mind to goals, like now we live in Baldwin, it's a nice area, we have a nice house, we are able to take vacations, and we have all of our cars are paid for, and like I think the American dream is as having those opportunities. Here you have those opportunities to grow and make your life better.
Right.
as long as you work. It does require work, but that's
Yeah.
that's part of the American dream. So,
And we read like a bunch of books about like the American dream, like The Great Gatsby and all that stuff, and that's what like kind of the whole like thing is about. Like just like it's like different perspectives that you look at. Like we've looked at a bunch of people's perspective of the American dream, like the poor, the wealthy, and all that
right
stuff. So basically, overall, you can just like build up what you want to be. And the reason I wanted to interview my mom is because like I didn't even know that happened like until I asked her about it, and then she was like telling me, and it kind of made me like feel like less. I was just kind of like, oh, I didn't really know that, and I like felt like very grateful in that moment because I was like, I didn't really know that even happened. So I was like, wow, like I didn't even know. So I guess it's just like cool to see that they like got through that moment and they were able to give us everything that we have today. And I think that like represents like the whole overall American dream. Like they were able to get through that tough time and then raise kids and allow them to not even have to worry about stuff like that, because like we didn't even know about anything about that. So I think that's amazing on their part to like just not even like have that bring them down or allow that to like stop us and keep us where we want to be. So that's why I chose to interview my mom. So do you have anything else to say?
I don't think I do. Just, the opportunities are here and, where we live. And if you just work for them, you can accomplish anything you want to here. That's what I tell my second graders. Even though they're little, I'm like, look, you're here to get an education and you're going to grow up and you can choose to be anything you want to be. And I think that's the American dream. So,
yep. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so after completing this project about the American dream, I don't really think that my opinion has changed, but I definitely think that it widened my perspective on the American dream, because I always kind of just looked at it as just like that's kind of what all Americans want, is just to be able to live that life of happiness and stuff. But I think what I was really missing was the concept and the path that it takes people to get there. And when you learn about all the stories that people go through in order to achieve happiness and success, it really does prove to you like the American dream is so special. Because what I would take from this is progress. That's what I would take. Like, you come from something and you make yourself more. And with my mom's situation, she had a lot of odds stacked against her. She had a lot going on, a lot of stress. Having 3 kids and being broke is not a good situation, but she was able to persevere and get through that and progress herself to now where we live in this nice house. We have everything that we need. We don't have to worry about having food stamps. We don't have to worry about not being able to eat the next couple of days. Like, we have everything that we need, and that's because they were able to persevere and get through those hard times. And so I think that my perspective has changed on the American dream, because everyone has a story. And I think the best part about it is starting from the beginning of the story and really learning what it takes people to get to the American dream. Because I think I always just thought of the American dream, but I never thought of what it takes to get to the American dream. And this project really allowed me to kind of see what it is really that the American dream is all about. And it's all about progress, and it's all about persevering through those hard times and making more of yourself, because in this country we are able to be whatever we want to be. And so you have unlimited options to be the best version of yourself. And yes, you may be in a tough situation, but always remember that you can always progress. So that is what the American dream taught me.